everyone? My name is Jamon McKinney, or you can just call me Juice because that is my nickname. There has been some pretty ugly news coming out of Washington, D.C. regarding their football team over the last couple days. I'm going to read something off of an article according to CNN right here. So according to CNN, the Washington Redskins have launched an internal investigation after 15 former female employees and 2 journalists who covered the team accused team staffers of sexual harassment and verbal abuse, the team told CNN. The allegations were first reported by the Washington Post on Thursday. The newspaper obtained screenshots of text messages in which Richard Mann II, the team's assistant director of pro personnel, made inappropriate sexual comments to a female employee. Mann was fired in the past week. Former employees also accused Larry Michael, the team's former senior vice president of content and play-by-play announcer, of talking about the attractiveness of a college intern in 2018 when he was being recorded for a team video, the newspaper reported. Michael retired on Wednesday. CNN was not able to reach Mann and Michael as well to comment about these things. So a lot to unpack right here. My initial thoughts based on reading all these crazy things is Daniel Snyder, the owner of the Washington football team, Daniel Snyder has to go. He has to go, guys. He can no longer be the owner of an NFL team. He's an awful owner. And by the way, there was one woman who said the harassment was relentless and ignored by people in position of power. That's a big time red flag. And this actually goes back to as far as 2006. Some of these things have been going on as far back as 2006. Daniel Snyder has to go. He can't be an owner of he cannot be the owner of an NFL franchise anymore. First of all, as far as just the football side of things on the field, he's a terrible owner. He's got a record of 142 and 193-1 as the owner of the football team. And in the playoffs, the team during that time frame is 2-5 in the playoffs. And you could talk about, well, he might have made a smart decision here, smart decision there. Listen, if you're the owner of a football team for roughly 2 decades, because Daniel Snyder has been the owner of the team for 21 years, magically, I would hope within a 21-year period, you would do something right, okay? So, listen, I'm not giving Daniel Snyder any cookies right here. And by the way, you are as good as your record says. And as far as the football side of things, even diehard Washington Redskins fans or fans of the Washington football team, whatever you want to call them at this point, they recognize, even deep down, if you put a lie detector to them, they're going to tell you Daniel Snyder is a terrible owner. The culture in Washington, D.C., as far as their football team goes, it's awful. It's not good. It's awful. He's just not a very good owner. And now, this is the final nail in the coffin. He has to go. This is all the evidence you need, okay, right here. And listen, NFL, you have the power to remove Daniel Snyder as owner of this football team. You have the power, make it happen. If you don't make this happen, NFL, shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. Okay? Listen, it's clear to me that Daniel Snyder had to have known about this. If he did not know about this somehow, then guess what? He still needs to be removed of his duties because it is his job to know about these problems. And don't tell me Daniel Snyder doesn't know about these things, because we got all the evidence that we need to know. Listen, he has to be gone right here. Listen, we could talk about the Costa Rica incident with the cheerleaders, the horny / sexual text messages that these men have been, sending to these women. We could talk about all these things, but listen, why did Larry Michael, the longtime play-by-play announcer for the Redskins, all of a sudden out of nowhere just resign? Resign. Just leave the team. Why did he do that all of a sudden? Ask yourself that question. Alex Santos, Richard Mann II, somehow out of nowhere, by the way, they are part of the scouting department for the team. They were fired from the team for virtually no reason. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, within the last week. And also, Daniel Snyder hired a lawyer, Beth Wilkerson is her name, to review the company practices. and address some of these things. So look, the evidence is there. The writing is on the wall. You cannot tell me that Daniel Snyder, who's the owner of the team, who foresees everything, does not know about these things. If you believe Daniel Snyder does not know about what's happening or did not know what was happening, you're delusional or you're a Daniel Snyder trooper, okay? That's just the hardest reality right there. One of the women that came out and basically just talked about how things went down, she said that no one in positions of power did anything about these sexual harassment things. You know, there were 15 women that came out and accused Daniel Snyder and the Washington football team of these things. Only one was brave enough to, talk about those things. That one lady said that nothing was done about it. So if Daniel Snyder knew about these things and he did nothing to address them, ooh, boy, that's a red flag right there. And he should not be an owner of the football team. He really shouldn't. He should be removed as owner of the Washington football team. I'm calling for his job right now. He's a terrible owner. He's been a terrible owner for over 2 decades, and he needs to go. This is the final nail in the coffin. This is the last straw right here. And, there were some rumors that the Washington football team was also paying the referees. Out of all the articles I've read, I haven't seen that. That's kind of been a rumor that's just kind of been surfacing around Twitter. If they were paying the refs, well, they didn't do a pretty good job of it because the team still sucked for a good while. But I didn't see anywhere in which there was paying the officials, paying the referees. So that is that's false information. You're going to be changing the name of this football team pretty soon. Why not let Daniel Snyder go? NFL, he's got to get out of there. And my thing is, some Washington football fans might be hesitant to see a new owner in the building for some odd reason. But guys, think about this. Who can be worse? Daniel Snyder, during this 20-year period, might have been the worst owner in football. Okay? Who can be worse? It's not hard to be better than Daniel Snyder. It's not hard to upgrade from Daniel Snyder because he's not that good at his job. The well-run teams have very good ownership, and Washington is kind of lacking in that area. I know that Snyder, let go of Bruce Allen and things of that nature, but I don't think it's good enough. I think that Snyder has to go. Now, I talked about how the fact that the Redskins getting a new owner is going to be a plus, and I do firmly believe that no one can be as bad as Daniel Snyder, but at the same time, that's not automatically going to guarantee this football team is going to get automatically better, because what if you bring in someone like maybe a Jeff Bezos, who's been kind of rumored to be the potential owner of the future if Snyder is removed of his duties. Some owners, they care more about finances and marketability rather than winning football games. I'm not trying to, cast aspersions or cast a curse on someone like Jeff Bezos or the next owner of the Redskins even before they step in the building. But keep in mind, not all owners are all about winning. So while they may be an instant upgrade over Snyder because he's so bad, not all owners are on the same page with the head coach and the people in that building as far as the players go. Some owners just care about marketability. And listen, Ron Rivera is in a position of power right now. He is the guy that is making all the decisions. And by the way, so far, Ron Rivera has done a great job. And if there was one head coach that can turn this organization around, it's Ron Rivera, a guy that's been to a Super Bowl in the past. A guy that turned around the Carolina Panthers franchise from virtually nothing. He won a lot of games in Carolina. He's a great leader of men. He knows how to establish a culture. And so far, Ron Rivera has done a great job of handling this situation with very good grace in Washington. So I believe in Ron Rivera as the coach. But at the same time, does the new owner believe in Ron Rivera? Is he going to give Ron Rivera that power that he has right now? Is Ron Rivera going to be on a short leash with the new owner? Because the new owner might have a whole new perspective on the football team opposite of Ron Rivera. So again, if you are a supporter of the Washington football team, that is something you need to keep in mind. But to be completely honest with you guys, if I was a supporter of the Washington football team, I would want to roll the dice with a new owner simply because I don't think anyone can be worse than what Daniel Snyder was. This team just kind of needs just a little bit of stability at the top. And I think this team can honestly take off. I really do firmly believe that. I love the talent that they have presented themselves on defense with Chase Young, with Montez Sweat, with Jonathan Allen, with Deron Payne, with Matt Ioannidis, with a guy like Reuben Foster coming back off injury, adding Kendall Fuller, adding Ronald Darby to the secondary. You got some very good players on the defense. I like Terry McLaurin. I believe in Dwayne Haskins. I think that he's gonna have a bounce back season this year. He's been working his tail off this offseason. So again, I think this team has some talent. And I do think that a new owner will definitely cater to Ron Rivera, a guy that's all about winning, a guy that likes to establish a culture and things of that nature. So honestly, I kind of think that Daniel Snyder is going to be removed as owner of this football team by the NFL at some point, simply because I just think that you cannot allow to happen what just happened with Daniel Snyder and the Washington football team and the employees in that building. So I think the writing's on the wall. I think Daniel Snyder is not going to be the owner of this football team for much longer, and that could definitely be a blessing in disguise for the Washington football team, because honestly, I can't think of a much worse owner than Daniel Snyder at the moment. So I think the writing is on the wall. I do not see Daniel Snyder being an owner of an NFL team for much longer, and I believe the NFL needs to strip Daniel Snyder of his duties as the owner of the Washington football team as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juice Alert Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I currently am a freshman there right now. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.